What is up, brave Duelist? Today, we got another fun deck profile, and we're bringing it back after the September 25th ban list. You'll see right here what it is. That's right, it's Salad. This is the deck that got me into Yu-Gi-Oh! May not be the best deck still, but it's going to be super strong with the Gazelle back to 3, the new cards in the legendary Duelist 10 Soul Burning Volcano. So we got some really good stuff cooked up here. Started off with our newly freed Salamangreat Gazelle. This is basically your Mathmech circular of the deck. Maybe not quite circular level, but it's that important to the deck right now. So, it's gonna, let you summon itself for free if one of your other Salamangreat monsters goes to the graveyard. It's gonna let you send a Salamangreat card to the graveyard. So the next card we're gonna look at is the Salamangreat of Fire, the new crazy good card from the Soul Burning Volcano set. When it's normal or special summon, you can add a level 4 or lower Salamangreat monster from your deck to hand. The one downside, it's going to lock you into your fire monsters, but if you're going first, it's still going to be super important for your board setups. Like going second game, you might want to side this out for something down to 1, because if you need it, it's going to be more of a secondary support kind of thing going second, but going first, huge for your board setups. So now we're going down to 2 Foxy now. It used to be, important at 3, but 3 Gazelle now. Seeing 2 Foxies is perfectly fine, honestly. There's no need for 3 now. And it saves some room for some non-engine, which in this meta right now, you need a lot of room for non-engine. Normal summon it, you're going to be able to excavate 3 and add a Salamangreat to hand. So its other effect to bring it back from the graveyard is more likely going to be the one you're using. With its effect, it's going to let you pop a face-up back row card, or field spell. So the next card here we got is 3 Salamangreat Spinnies. This card has just always been a 3-up for the deck. Brings itself back from the graveyard. Send it to the graveyard by itself as long as you have a Salamangreat monster on the field that you can buff with its effect. Does banish itself unless it's coming off, being an Xyz material, but that's how it's usually going to go in the graveyard anyway. So this crazy good extender with just super consistency, and that's why this deck is so good. It's just so consistent. So now we're going to have the one of Salamangreats with our Jack Jaguar. You only need one of it right now because you have so many ways to get it into the graveyard or get it onto the field. Another newcomer to the deck, the one Salamangreat Weasel. Honestly, I could see running this at 2. This card's crazy. If it's in your hand and you have 2 Salamangreat monsters in the graveyard, it's a free special summon, which is great. It's a 3, so you can use it for your Mirage Dalio. But its other effect is also really good just for, the grind game. Lets you target a Salamangreat monster in your graveyard, and then you place this card on the bottom of your deck. You summon that monster that you targeted from the graveyard to your opponent's field. And giving your opponent a monster, I know Kashtira might be dead, but just with evenly going around, and if you can get this early in your combo, you can maybe shut off an imperm in your opponent's hand or something. But then when you summon that to your opponent's field, you have to also draw a card. So just more hand advantage, which is one thing this deck loves to do. But then our other one of Salamangreat is going to be the one Falco, just to recur your spells and traps, because you're going to get into the grind game a lot, I'm sure. So anything to kind of help you get those resources back is going to be super useful. And also, he can let you bounce something to bring them back as well. Now we're down to 2 Bufferlo. Used to be the best normal summon in the deck. Now there's so many normal summons, you don't really need 3. Just drawing 2 from one discard can be so crazy good in this deck, and if you can keep your normal summon, that's a great card to do it with. Okay, so now let's get into the spell cards that are for the engine. You got the triple Salamangreat Circle. Search any of your salad monsters. Having this at 3 has just been so nice. We're going 2 Will of the Salamangreat now, just because it's a card that a lot of times they're going to pop it with their back row removal, because it's just such a good card. Every turn summoning something from either hand or graveyard, kind of nuts. And then 1 Sanctuary still. I almost feel like with the new cards, running 2 could be done. I think 1 so far should still be enough, because most people aren't respecting it enough. So it's not necessarily necessary. Yeah, that was a weird sentence. But then you got the 3 Signet Mining, just another card to search any of your Cybers. Just having between this and the circle, you have so many ways to get into your starters, your extenders, discard a card to your graveyard from this to use. Just the ultra consistency of this deck is absolutely wild. Now let's get on to the traps. We got 2 Roar now. Oftentimes in your turn 1 combo, you might be bringing the Roar back off its own effect, which means it's going to get banished. So having another one in your deck ready to go can be super necessary. But it's just crazy just having a counter trap and engine. But now you have the 1 Rage as well. And with the new kind of turn 1 combo, you can get Rage to a 4-card destroy. Obviously, you don't want to be destroying your opponent's Unchained cards to give them free effects, but you know, if you got to clear a board somewhere, if you got to get things off the field for all the other decks, this card's great to do that with. Alright, so now we got 13 non-engine cards to go into here. That's, you know, it's a good amount of room for non-engine. You know, the combos of this deck still lose to cards like Nibiru. You still don't want to get hit by Ashes. Got 3 crossouts for that reason. Salad end board is Nib token. You don't want it to be that way. It doesn't have to be. There's a better way, and that way is crossout. And then for your crossout targets slash your non-engine, you got your triple Ash Blossom, 2 Nibiru. Yeah, main decking it. What? Come at me. I mean, you don't want to be hit by Nib in game 1, do you? So then you got the 2 Valor. There's other options you could run right now, but Valor is just, it's a solid card. And you already have the triple Imperm as well, so you could run Bells in the place of Valor. You could run Ghost Mourners in there, but I think Effect Valor is still pretty solid to fill up that space right now. All right, so now that we got the main deck out of the way, let's get right into the extra deck. It's going to look a little bit different than it used to. Got some new support, that's why, some really important support. So we got just running the 1 Salamangreat Mirage Stalio. Special summons 1 from your deck, it'll fire lock you, whatever. You got other cards doing that now. Going first, you're not going to be too worried about that though. It's just, if you're going for the OTK going second, it might hurt. But then you got the 3 Balinks, you know, to get your field spell, that great protection effect from the graveyard. Any amateur player that doesn't know what they're doing might just Ash Balinks and then the rest of your stuff's free to fire. Happens all the time in Master Duel, why not in real life? Triple Sunlight Wolves, there are things you could cut this down to 2 for, but 3 comes up so much where it's like, just can't do it. But you know, it's gonna let you bring fire effect monsters back from your graveyard, like your Ash Blossoms or your Buffalos or Gazelles. I mean, it's crazy for that. If you Reincarnation Link Summon it, get a spell or trap back. It's just such a good card that 3 of them just feels needed. We got the 1 Heatleo for back row hate. You know, sends it back into the deck though, so that's kind of crazy. Hits those unchained back row if the situation comes up where they have one sitting on the field there. Salamangreat Raging Phoenix. Let's talk about the new card here. This card didn't seem that good at first. It seemed like a Link 4 for that effect was kind of underwhelming, but what it does for the deck is actually a lot better than that. So the Reincarnation Link Summon of this with the field spell effect is actually really good. It lets you get a Salamangreat card from your deck to your hand. Realistically, your traps are going to be the best searches with that. Its second effect can also be really good for, you know, the follow-up, because if a face-up fire monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you target that monster, summon back the Raging Phoenix, and then it gains attack equal to that monster's. You know, the attack doesn't really matter because you might be using this for, like, you know, more Link plays going forward or something like that, but still a really nice effect to have. And right now, this deck being more than just an OTK deck, being a good grind deck is the way it kind of needs to be played right now. And then you've got some of your other staples that you were seeing before, your Splash Mage. Just really, you know, good to go into your Heat Soul play. You always just want cards in hand with this deck. You'll draw, you know, draw on your opponent's turn into your non-engine. And then your Update Jammer, Transcode Talker, Access Code Talker. You all know the line. It's a song as old as time. It's, you know, it is what it is. Access Code Talker, OTK. If you can do it, that's fantastic. If you can get through your opponent's interruption and get into that, you're living the dream. You might not always see that happening, but when it does happen, boy does it feel good. So now we have the side deck. It might not look quite the same as everyone's, but we got some good stuff here. So let's start with one of my favorite parts here. That's the 3 parallel Exceeds. And the reason I have those there is because you want any way to make sure you get 2 level 4s so you can get into your Dweller, because you want to be able to shut off Graveyard's effects from a couple decks. One very namely being that Unchained deck, but also with the Age of Overlords coming out, you might see a rise in the Tearlament Horus deck. And then one card I refuse to take out. Give me my Curry Karas. This is my favorite card of all time. Great against Purely. You get rid of that Towers who's going to be drawing on your turn. It's also a fire effect monster, so if you want to bring it back from your graveyard off your Sunlight Wolf effect, go for it. Nothing's stopping you. The only thing that's stopping you is you not running it in the deck. Then we have a couple Ghost Bells here. So if someone's gonna Ghost Bell you, so you have another cross out target. Also with Labyrinth, you know, is gonna still be pretty big. A lot of the same things I was saying Dweller can hit. Ghost Bell also can do some damage too. So then you have your back row hate and your cosmic cyclones. I was running the lightning storm duster, but with Unchained, I want to banish these things now. I don't want no destroying of their cards. I want to banish. Get them out of here. Thank you. Next. And then last but not least, 3D barrier. It's gonna hit your branded Chimera decks. It's gonna hit purely decks. It's gonna hit a lot of things. And in a format like this, where there's so many different decks going around, a card like D barrier is just kind of a no-brainer. All right, so before we go into a quick combo, I'm gonna just say if you enjoy seeing your boy Gazelle back to 3 as much as I do, go ahead and give a like and slap that subscribe button, because Salamangreat's back. Maybe not better in the meta, but better in what it does. Alright, so let's get into a quick combo here. We're going to do a little 2-card combo that's going to end with a pretty solid board. And, you're going to have 2 cards here, plus, you might get some hand traps here, some other extenders to play through things. You might have a cross out, so don't say, oh, this combo loses to Nibiru. I don't care. I don't care. We got cross out for a reason, alright? Start with your Salamangreat Spinny and your Salamangreat of Fire in hand. This is another one to show off the new card here. We're going to start with your normal summon Salamangreat of Fire, and that's going to let you add a level 4 lower Salamangreat monster from your deck to hand. Alright, so what you're going to do here is add the Gazelle. You're going to add that to hand, and now you are fire locked, but right now, in this, with these new cards, if you're going first, fire locking isn't nearly as big of an issue as it may have been in the past. So you're going to link off your Salamangreat of Fire into your Banlist. You're going to have your Banlist effect as your Chainlink 1, and then you're going to have your Gazelle from hand as Chainlink 2 because your fire went to the graveyard. So you'll summon the Gazelle, and Banlist is going to go ahead and grab you your field spell. So next you're going to have the Salamangreat Gazelle summon effect to dump to your graveyard. So because you're doing the 2-card combo, you're going to go for your Roar. There's a 1-card combo off your fire where you want to dump something else here, but because you have a second card in hand that you're going to be using, you'll dump your Roar here. And so now you're going to send your Spinny to the graveyard, doing the whole buff effect of one of these. And then you're going to use the effect to bring back your Spinny from the graveyard. And with these 2, you are going to overlay them into your Mirage Stalio here. Detach your Gazelle here to go ahead and special summon your Jack Jaguar from the deck. And I mean, you're already fire locked, so another fire lock, what's that going to do to you, huh? You are going to link off your Banlist and your Jack Jaguar into your Sunlight Wolf. You will use the Jack Jaguar effect from the graveyard. We'll just, you want to keep your Banlist in the graveyard for protection. Just send your Salamangreat of Fire back into your deck to use the Jack Jaguar effect to summon it under your Sunlight Wolf. That way you get your Sunlight Wolf's effect to bring your Gazelle back to hand for next turn, starter or extending, whatever that may be. You're going to link these, 1, 2, 3, 4, to get your Salamangreat Raging Phoenix. You're going to throw down your Sanctuary, so that way you can Reincarnation Link Summon into another copy of your Raging Phoenix. So that way you'll get your Raging Phoenix effect and your Roar effect go off in the graveyard. So your Roar effect will set itself back to the field. And then your Raging Phoenix, you can go ahead and add your Salamangreat Rage to your hand. And then you can go ahead and, set that to your field. But you have a Gazelle, in your hand for follow-up, plus whatever else you had. You have 2 back rows set. So your Roar is going to, be live because of your Raging Phoenix. And then your Rage is going to be a Destroy 4 because you've Reincarnation summoned your Raging Phoenix. That's some good interruptions. Dark Ruler's not going to do anything to your board there if people are running Dark Ruler right now. Or Droplet, because you can negate that because he's not really doing anything right there anyway. So you'll still have your back row live here. So that's going to be a pretty nice end board. And also, don't forget you have your Banlist in graveyard. So you can, have a Destroy protection as well. Alright, so once again, thanks for watching the deck profile. So happy we got Gazelle back to 3. With Gazelle back to 3, maybe, who knows, Cypress Enjoyers might get a circular back to 3? It's not gonna happen. Not a shot, but it'd be a nice dream. Anyway, let us know how you feel about Salad. You like having Gazelle back to 3? Did anyone else get into this deck? Let us know in the comments. So thanks for watching.